Have you ever wondered how antibiotics and vitamins are manufactured? Well, the secret lies in the magic of fermentation. This age-old process, used for centuries in making bread and brewing beer, has a significant role in modern pharmaceutical manufacturing, including the production of life-saving antibiotics and essential vitamins. Fermentation is a biological process where microorganisms like bacteria or yeast convert sugars into other compounds. In the pharmaceutical industry, the process can be complex, involving advanced biotechnology. But don't worry, we're going to break it down, making it easy for everyone to understand. From the creation of miraculous antibiotics like penicillin to the production of vital vitamins such as vitamin B12, fermentation is a crucial step. It's a fascinating world where biology, chemistry, and technology intertwine to create products that enhance and save lives. Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of fermentation? Buckle up! It's going to be an intriguing journey. So what exactly is fermentation? This age-old process might be most familiar to you in the context of brewing beer or baking bread, but it goes beyond that. At its core, fermentation is a metabolic process that brings about chemical changes in organic substances through the action of enzymes. To break it down further, enzymes are proteins that act as catalysts in these metabolic reactions, speeding up the process without being consumed themselves. These enzymes help convert sugars such as glucose into other substances like alcohol or lactic acid, releasing energy in the process. This is the heart of fermentation, a natural biological process that's been harnessed by humans for millennia. Now let's dive a bit deeper. There are two main types of fermentation we need to know about: aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic fermentation happens in the presence of oxygen. In this process, glucose is broken down to produce carbon dioxide and water, releasing a significant amount of energy. This is the type of fermentation that takes place in our muscle cells when we exercise. On the other hand, anaerobic fermentation occurs in the absence of oxygen. In this case, glucose is converted into either ethanol and carbon dioxide, as we see in the fermentation of beer and wine, or into lactic acid, like in the fermentation of yogurt. While this process doesn't generate as much energy as aerobic fermentation, it's incredibly useful in a variety of applications. Understanding these two types of fermentation is crucial because they are both widely used in the production of many products that we use daily. From the food we eat to the medicine we take, fermentation plays a key role. Now that we understand what fermentation is, let's explore how it's used in antibiotic production. This is where things get really interesting, as we'll see how this ancient process is used in modern science to create life-saving medicines. Stay tuned. The journey into the world of fermentation is just beginning. Antibiotics, the life-saving drugs, but how does fermentation play a role in their production? Well, let's dive in and unravel this intriguing process. Fermentation is a biological process where microorganisms, such as bacteria or fungi, convert sugars into other compounds, releasing energy in the process. This is the same process that gives us our beloved bread, beer, and yogurt. But when it comes to antibiotics, the process is a bit more complex and the stakes are much higher. Take penicillin, for instance, one of the most widely used antibiotics in the world. It's produced by a type of fungus known as Penicillium notatum. The fermentation process begins with the preparation of a nutrient-rich medium, which provides the perfect environment for the fungus to thrive and multiply. The medium typically contains sources of carbon and nitrogen, along with other essential nutrients. The Penicillium notatum is then introduced into this medium and allowed to grow. As it grows, it metabolizes the nutrients in the medium and starts producing penicillin. But it's not as simple as just letting the fungus do its thing. The conditions have to be carefully controlled throughout the process. The pH, temperature, and oxygen levels are all meticulously monitored and adjusted to ensure optimal production. It's a delicate balancing act, and even the slightest deviation can affect the yield of penicillin. The fermentation process typically lasts for several days. Once it's complete, the penicillin is extracted from the mixture, purified, and then it's ready for use in treating a wide range of bacterial infections. From this, we can see how crucial the fermentation process is in the production of antibiotics. But what about vitamins? Let's find out. Vitamins are essential for our body, but did you know fermentation also plays a key role in the production of some vitamins? Now let's dive into the fascinating world of vitamin production. Fermentation a natural process of converting sugars into alcohol or acids, is not only used to make our favorite beverages, but it's also a tool to produce essential vitamins. One great example of this is the production of vitamin B12, a nutrient that helps keep the body's nerve and blood cells healthy. This vitamin is unique as it's not produced by plants or animals, but by certain types of bacteria. Specifically, a bacterium known as Propionibacterium shermaniae is often used in industrial production of vitamin B12. You see, these microorganisms have the right set of enzymes to carry out the complicated chemical reactions needed to make this vitamin. The production process begins with a fermentation medium, which is essentially a nutrient-rich soup that provides everything these bacteria need to grow and reproduce. This medium is typically composed of glucose, which serves as a source of energy, and a nitrogen source, which is necessary for protein synthesis. Once the bacteria are introduced into this medium, they start to consume the glucose and convert it into various products, including vitamin B12. This process is carried out in large fermentation tanks under carefully controlled conditions to ensure the bacteria are happy and productive. After fermentation, the vitamin B12 is extracted from the fermentation broth, purified, and then packaged into supplements or fortified foods, ready to boost your health and well-being. So the next time you take a vitamin B12 supplement or eat a fortified food, remember the microscopic heroes, the Propionibacterium shermaniae, and the magic of fermentation that helped produce it. Isn't it amazing how a single process can have such varied applications? Let's summarize what we've learned. So we've taken a deep dive into the world of fermentation, exploring its role in the production of antibiotics and vitamins. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it? Let's take a moment to recap the key points we've discussed. Our exploration started with unpacking the concept of fermentation, a natural metabolic process that's been harnessed by humans for thousands of years. We learned how microorganisms, particularly yeasts and bacteria, convert sugars into other substances like alcohol, gases, and acids. A process that might seem simple, but is actually a complex dance of biochemical reactions. From there, we moved on to the application of fermentation in the production of antibiotics. We discovered that penicillin, the world's first antibiotic, is produced through the fermentation of the mold penicillium. This process, which involves the mold feeding on a sugar solution, not only revolutionized medicine but also gave birth to the era of antibiotics. Next, we delved into the role of fermentation in the production of vitamins. We discussed how the B-complex vitamin, riboflavin or vitamin B2, is manufactured through the fermentation of a specific yeast. This process allows for the mass production of this essential nutrient, making it widely available and affordable. The takeaway from our journey is the immense significance of fermentation in the pharmaceutical industry. It's not just about brewing beer or making bread, it's a critical process that has allowed us to create life-saving antibiotics and essential vitamins, impacting health and well-being on a global scale. As we wrap up, it's clear that the world of fermentation is vast and fascinating, with so much more to uncover. It's a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary things are happening right beneath our noses, in the microscopic world of yeasts and bacteria. We hope this journey through fermentation has been as fascinating for you as it has been for us. Remember, there's always more to learn, so subscribe for more, because you won't find me later.